The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show where we find out what's being said about Leeds United by you and by the opposition, available in your podcast app and on YouTube as well. Propaganda. We'll get a Leeds fan opinion first, shall we? Dan here with Michael, and Rob is in today. Our TSB Plus member sent us their feedback on the match ball, and this is the stuff that they picked out from the game itself and from the match ball. Should mention as well, Levi Solicitors bring you the show. 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. We lost to Arsenal. It wasn't pretty and it was ugly early on, and that's where the fun started with propaganda, isn't it, Michael?
Yes, lots of people making it early submissions on it with negativity. But I think first we should hear from Rob, who had a nice day.
I mean, I'm sure our listeners and viewers will love to hear about what a great day I had. But yeah, in terms of watching Leeds United implode, it was probably the most fun I've had for quite a while, to be honest. I'd managed to blag a seat in hospitality, so, you know, lots of free booze, which certainly helped. And especially
when you say it helped, do you mean numb the pain?
Well, I mean, after that first 10 minutes, you just thought, we're going to have to really get stuck into that here, aren't we? So a bit of
just like Luke Haley did.
Yeah, a bit of nihilism mixed with free booze. It was nice at half time to be able to go into a box and just go straight to a bottle of red wine and open that. It really helped.
Great. And when did your day end?
It was a long journey back, but again, we swiped a bottle of red wine from the box, so that helped the train home. It took about 4 hours to get home. I was kind of looking after my mate, who was very, very drunk by that point and almost starting fights with people on the train, so it was great. It was an arduous journey, yeah.
The good news is you can get drunk in any football ground.
Mm-hmm.
So even if we go down, you can still have days like that.
Yeah, and actually,
the red wine might not be as nice, but it doesn't make much difference, does it?
And if we do go down, you get drunk with 6,000 or 7,000 people at Wigan, can't you?
Blackburn too. That's always a good one.
Yeah.
So loads of positives.
Let's not get too negative now, because you know we may yet do this, and now is not the time to destroy everything, or is it? Because some of the messages would seem to suggest so. It all got quite nihilistic half an hour in, which does coincide with the red card.
Yes, James, you say it's not a good time to throw everything in, but James from Australia gets 30 minutes in. Everton are 2-1 up. Fucking burn it down. What the fuck are we actually doing in games? It's great to think and say we're better than Watford, but are we? No, we're not. Judging this in the 20th minute, we're worse. This looks like a team with no fucking clue what we're doing. Just fucking awful. Let's look forward to the Championship, because that's where we're going to be next year.
Yeah, West Ham Ralph, who wrote this one at half-time, so slightly later, didn't get in there quite as early as James in Australia. Players' heads have gone. Ailing, that was just fucking stupid. Marsh is a fucking idiot for bribing Joffrey off. Don't think there's anything's proven about that. Is it bringing?
I'd say bringing.
Yep. We are down. Raf has not been the same since January. EFL, here we come.
This is just reminding me, the game kicked off at 2. At 6 minutes past 2, I had a text off my dad saying, what the fuck? And then before I'd even had the chance to reply, at 28 minutes past 2, there was another text off my dad just saying, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have the ball in that first half, did we? Certainly not in their half. I think possession-wise, weirdly, at one point on TV, they were pointing out we'd had more possession, but it was basically just having it in our own third for a bit, and then before kicking it forward and losing it.
Yeah, we've got similar thoughts from Sam on the comment further down, who talking about the fact that the squad is packed with wingers, taught them to play wide for 4 years, then we bring in a human TED Talk who tells them to play centrally. And we are recording straight off the back of Jesse's Tuesday pre-Chelsea press conference, where he's been dripping in the Mother Teresa stuff. Michael, you're giving me side-eye.
Can't he just let Mark Jackson do it? Just say he's ill. Just tell everyone he's got COVID and let Jackson do it.
Part of me was hoping that there wouldn't be a press conference this morning. I thought, such a quick turnaround. Can we just pretend that?
I don't mind. I don't mind what motivational quotes he uses, as long as they work. I'm just waiting to see if they work now.
Gandhi, no good as a football manager, was he?
No, not noted. Not a noted coach. What else have we got then?
A lot of criticism of Marsh's tactics. Anyone who defends this useless wank yank in charge needs to slap themselves. There's not an awful lot of support for Jesse at the moment, it's worth saying. I mean, looking back at it, the performance in the second half was better. But does it even matter when you're 2-0 down and got 10 men, if you can be a bit better? I remember Hockaday era, he always used to say, we were better second half. But that's because they were already in the lead and were just playing out time, just be like, well, this is easy, so we might as well just keep it at 2-0, save our energy.
It felt a bit like that against City, where we did have little spells, but you thought, if we just score here, they're probably just going to try, aren't they? Like, they'll just click into gear and that'll be it.
But it's funny that you can turn games on moments like that, like because they completely got into second gear again, and we did score. It can then be difficult for them to raise their game again, can't it? So there was a sniff there, because football's funny like that, but it can catch you, unawares. I know I am clutching at straws here because we lost. I mean, let's go to Mike's comment. So Mike, in quotes, Sunshine Pantera, I think that might be ironic, says, prepare for some positivity. Not. Penis formation, hoofball sucks. We might not concede as many goals as before, but this football won't get us anywhere. At least not anywhere we want to be.
I thought you said positivity, Dan. There is a section of positivity. It's short, admittedly.
Well, before we get to that, can I just read Tom's thing? He says, Marsh was billed as a great motivator, but our players seem haunted by doubt.
I mean, we're down the bottom of the league, aren't we? It's probably always going to happen. But it's the tweet that went round said someone holding up the sign, our expectations were low. But Jesus Christ, or whatever it says. Like, bizarre first half. I can't get my head around how little we had the ball and how little idea we had of what to do with it.
Rich AD saying Marsh has tried to change too much too quickly. Transition from man marking to zonal was all that was needed to get through this season, and then a new philosophy in the summer.
We did see us play arguably our best game under Marsh against Leicester, and the main change in that was it seemed to be you don't need to do the man marking anymore, but the rest of it, fine. Just keep doing what you were doing. And that did almost work.
Yeah, I think that was what my hope was for this change in management, was Marsh's kind of more personable touch and just relaxing things a little bit might help the players, because they did look stressed and frayed kind of mentally and physically towards the end of Bielsa. So I thought just him chilling everything out and just kind of reminding them what they could do would really help. But the more he's had time to supposedly get his tactics across, the worse it's looking. The amount of times that, I mean, Clicker did it in the first half where there was loads of space to the left, so he just pinged a pass out, but there was no one there and it just sailed out of touch, and it happens constantly. I've written for the blog about Meslier, and not necessarily for the goal, because the goal's ridiculous and you just kick the ball, don't leave it for the opposition striker to score, but the amount of times he gets the ball at his feet, and this idea of going to 100 to 70, which Marsh keeps talking about, just doesn't seem to suit the players at all, and all that happens is the opposition get back into shape, and Mellier's looking around going, well, do I pass it to Diego Llorente, who's got a lot of people running at him, and we know what he does.
And it's Diego Llorente.
Exactly, yeah. Or then he was looking forward and going, all right, well, there's Dan James I could maybe hoof it to. And then he just kicks it out of play, which is kind of the best option at times, because at least he gets rid of it.
And that I guess, falls into the notion of an attacking plan. And El Narval says, I so want to like Jesse. He's no Bielsa and never will be, but Jesus, Mary and Gandhi, just formulate some sort of attacking plan. And that is the thing. It's the with the ball aspects of the with the ball without the ball, isn't it? We don't seem to know what to do with it.
No. Well, it's all, everything he talks about is winning it back in transition and stuff. But when you've got the ball yourself, in like from the back, and you've got comfortable possession of it, what do you do then? That seems to be where the problem is.
I'm still not sure. I'm not sure what that plan is. I genuinely, I don't know.
I don't know either.
And I want us to succeed. I really do. I just don't. I don't know what they're trying to do. What they're trying to achieve when we get the ball.
The other thing I hoped he'd do was drop the man marking, because I think it'd give the players a bit of a mental rest from doing it, because I think they were obviously struggling with it, and keep things not. Well, I mean, we were told it would be a system and a style that would mesh in beautifully with what Bielsa had done. So I was hoping for that, and I was hoping also he'd play people in position. Now, I know injuries have not helped there, but like Dan James as a 10, Rafinha as a wing back, and I know we've had to adapt because of injuries and things, but I mean, it just doesn't feel right still.
How many positions did Dan James play at the weekend? He started at number 10, then I think he went up front, then he was at right back, and then I think he ended up on the wing. I don't really know. And then he popped up on the left wing at one point as well. Robin Koch was playing centre half, then he was at full back, and then he was charging forward at the right wing. I don't know, but he's obsessed with that word transition. He just keeps talking about it, and he's talking about it against terrible teams as well. Like, fair enough if we are going to sit back and play on the counter, against some of those teams towards the top of the table, but he was talking about it against Southampton. He was talking about it against Watford, saying, "Oh, they're a really strong team in transition." You just think, it's Watford, mate. Like, come on,
and loads
we've got to be better than this.
And loads of teams sit deep, particularly the weaker ones, don't they? That's what Watford try and do, not very well. Several people calling for Marsh to go already.
Well, it's hard, isn't it? We've been in this situation before. We're back in a situation with managers where it's hard to truly care if they stay or leave. It's like when Heckingbottom left, I was like, oh, that seems a bit harsh. He's not had very long, has he? But equally, oh well. And also we were getting Bielsa then, so obviously it was a different thing. But when Milanic was sacked and when Hockaday was sacked and when Christensen was sacked, you kind of went through these managers and you went, well,
they'll be all right.
I suppose it's not good now, is it? So what have you got to lose on it? There is someone calling it, who doesn't have a name on this actually, who's calling for to get Deitch in. Which is, do you know, it would be quite funny because I think he would be thoroughly determined to do well, given it'd be up against Burnley.
I mean, it'd be the absolute making of this show if Deitch
it'd be the worst thing. I'd be retired.
I think there's obviously nothing to be gained from getting rid of Marsh.
No, not now
whatsoever. There are probably question marks around the timing, and we said, didn't we, ultimately you'll judge Marsh based on, first of all, what happens this season, and then probably what happens next season, assuming he's still here.
He's so hard to keep him if we go down there.
I mean, he was saying in his press conference before Arsenal that he's still in temporary accommodation, but in the next few weeks he is going to move to a permanent home, which I thought was a very brave thing to say, to be honest.
Temporary accommodation makes it sound like he's in some little hostel as well, like he's in a bed
in a
somewhere.
House.
With people on parole or something, waiting to get moved to his proper home.
I mean, we're not going to get rid of him now, are we?
No,
that's the point.
No, absolutely not.
And should we?
No, there'd be no point, would there?
Is that the best you can offer, though? I mean, seriously, I know we're laughing about it, we're joking, but
these ideas have not worked as far as I can tell yet.
But people will turn around and go, well, he got 11 points out of 5 games or whatever.
Yeah, he did. And they're a bit... Arsenal was terrible. Like, there was nothing good about that performance. First half in particular was just a complete train wreck, from the mistake that we made to give them the first goal, to Ayling being sent off, to the fact we couldn't string 3 passes together and never got into their half. Like, the whole thing was just awful. Like, we've looked at the attacking momentum graph, which is like a minute by minute, kind of showing where the pressure is. And the first half, I don't think we've got any marks on it. There's maybe 2 minutes of it where there's
we crossed the halfway
where there's
line.
The most minute little dip down into our territory on it. So it was terrible. I don't see from the first half what we're actually trying to do at all.
I found it interesting, Phil Hay saying last week how against City he saw Calvin Phillips kind of drop back into that singular defensive midfield position that he played under Bielsa, and Phil was saying, I don't know if that was tactical or just the players falling back into that. And I've the more I've watched Click recently, the more, I mean, he was spotted at Palace kind of arguing with Marsh, but even before then he's been making runs and doing things that I think, I don't know if Marsh is actually asking him to do that. And part of my hope now is if the players just kind of go, Rafa, just stand on the wing.
Just stand out wide, yeah. We'll pass it to you if you go and stand out there. Well, Ilkley Arsehole actually says Ayling is a good barometer of the team, and on that basis I think they no longer have confidence in their manager. Marsh is a loser and they know it.
Bloody hell.
But yeah,
I mean, it gets like this. We should say it does get like this when Leeds lose and the pressure is on. It's never nice.
And if we beat Chelsea, the mood will change.
I mean, but that's what we've been saying from the start. We're just waiting for them to put that marker down and go, this is what they're trying to do, and this is the point of what they've been trying to work towards. At the minute, it's still very, very unclear, isn't it? I mean, the negativity and finger pointing takes many different forms. A lot of people are saying, just going down. Paul, Carlo, Nathan, Bobby Eyebrows, wasted opportunities in winnable games. The board are coming in for some flack here. The word chancer is now popping up quite a bit.
In relation to who?
Andrea Radrizzani.
It's one of those things that there's probably not a huge amount of point getting into it all now, because there's
2 weeks, Michael.
A couple of weeks left. Whether we go up or down, though, there needs to be a huge post-mortem of this season and a discussion of what the fuck has happened and why it has happened.
There is a day of reckoning coming, isn't there?
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully we'll be able to look back at it as a narrow escape.
Yeah, and go, whoo!
And don't ever do that again.
Wasn't that fun?
But it doesn't feel like that is necessarily going to be the case. I mean, it's down to us and Burnley, isn't it?
Yeah, and because they torched all the goodwill by sacking Bielsa, who was, regardless of fault for this season, he was the guy who took us up and gave us 3 good seasons.
The thing is, it doesn't torch the goodwill if their replacement does well.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm saying is like they've got no more credit in the bank, have they? Because we've not gone forward in any meaningful sense since. Well, we've actually gone backward because we've dropped into the relegation zone, haven't we? Orta obviously coming in for some attention.
An absolute disaster, described as. Yeah, I think Orta is probably the main one in the firing line this summer if it happens. But apart from anything else, because an owner sacking himself is difficult. Yeah. Whereas to be able to go to Orta and say, well, you never know. Andrea is a bit of a disruptor. He might like trying to sack himself. Leave no one in charge. But I mean, he did. We have been told that very clearly that this was Orta's man. Was Marsh, and he'd been speaking to him for years.
Well, Marsh has even said himself that he's been talking to Orta for years and they've been in contact, and it was kind of put out there that, one day you might get this job, and it's been sold to us as this is going to be some kind of seamless transition, and it's an evolution in playing style that really fits the squad, and the evidence that we are seeing suggests very different.
And his managerial picks have been Christensen, Heckingbottom, Bielsa and Marsh, which if you get 1 out of 4 correct, it's not great, is it? No,
and players as well. Same goes for the players. I mean, I keep going back to Junior Firpo. Whatever performance art it is that he's trying to do, I'm not here for it. I mean,
we interviewed Tony DeRigo yesterday, and he was almost maintaining a diplomatic silence when quizzed.
I mean, if there is a guy who knows a quality left back, it's Tony DeRigo, and I think say he's got some questions.
What can he do well? That's a question for you.
For me,
yeah. What's he good at? What's Junior Firpo? No, what's Junior Firpo good at?
I can tell you what Tony DeRigo was good at.
I know everything. I can tell you that as well. What's Junior Firpo good at now?
He's a nice guy.
Anything to add?
Good Tash, yeah.
Good Tash.
There was a moment in the second half after we'd scored when Harrison got the ball on the edge of the box in quite a promising situation, and he should have passed it to Firpo on the overlap, who would have been in on goal with a chance to have a shoot or a cross, and it was really frustrating. But I did think, we'd have only messed it up, wouldn't we? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we were saying that he was playing. I don't know whether he was following instructions, but he was the furthest player forward at several points, and given he cannot shoot or cross,
maybe
did get an assist. Actually,
maybe
we need to give him credit for the assist.
Maybe the safest place for him is at number 9, given that we're lacking strikers, and he was in that position against Arsenal, so give him a go.
Sometimes.
Let's give him a go.
Yes.
We should say, just while we're hawking stuff off, that part 1 of the Tony DeRigo chat, where we go through the squads, the 1991-92 happier times championship winning squads, is telling us about his teammates and himself as well. That's over on the extra ball for our members. Back to the present day and the nihilism and the acceptance, that's starting to I think seep into a few people. I'm there now, and it's like, yeah, whatever happens this season happens. If we stay up, it'll be as what David Batty described winning the title as a nice bonus back in 1992. So if we do stay up, it will be a nice bonus, but I just want this over one way or another now.
And as Gear says, all happiness is transitory and death is inevitable.
Yeah,
which is true.
I think John P sums up where I was, where he says, when we scored against Arsenal, I didn't find myself celebrating. I just found myself chuckling, shaking my head, and memory fuck off.
He's right. I feel better this week than I did last week.
Yeah,
weirdly.
The stress had kind of built up to a point with me as well, where I just couldn't handle it anymore. And actually, it's just all gone now.
Yeah,
like whatever.
And we do this really well. Like the away end at the weekend was amazing, and just seeing them dancing around singing football in a library, and we were on the tube back singing about Trezor Kandol, and Arsenal fans looking really, really confused, and a few eventually started trying to sing You're Going Down. It was like, yeah, we're owning it, it's fine.
So what?
Yeah, we've been there before. It's all right.
Nobody will laugh at Leeds United more than us. There needs to be... I mean us, I mean as a collective fan base, if we go down, because it's been the longest, slowest, most obvious death possible this season if we do go down.
I do think if we do go down, there needs to be a very clear line drawn, though, between fans doing that and us accepting as a fan base that it's fine that this has happened, because on an away day you might as well have fun. I'm always of that opinion. Like, I used to look at teams, it's always Reading that I pick on, but Reading used to come to Ellen Road and there'd be like 300 of them dotted around the whole West Stand, and even when they won it didn't look any fun. So you sort of think, well, what's the point of it? Whereas Leeds away days, I've been to loads where we've lost and it's fun still, and we can still do that, and we should remember that we can still have fun times doing that, but that isn't a way of excusing the fact we've gone down, if you know what I mean. That needs to be a separate thing.
Yeah. That's why Marsh after Man City felt so jarring, because that whole 10 minutes of singing We All Love Leeds, it wasn't this is fine. Yeah. It is, we're going to support the team, but this isn't fine. Like, we've just been beat 4-0, it doesn't feel like a win.
Yeah. It was just we're in for life, and we appreciate. We accept that, and we appreciate it.
We're stuck here, and we'll make the best of it.
Yeah, right. And onto the players then. A number of players were picked out for a variety of reasons. People asking, are they trying? Richard's asking, are they trying? There are questions about that, aren't there? Seeing some of the players. I mean, I'm thinking Rodrigo never looks particularly arsed. He's been a lot better recently. He looked like he got a new spring in his step, but then he always seems to be running around at about 80%, doesn't he?
Well, given Marsh has bigged him up so much and put him in the leadership group, and he's giving him leg rubs and cooking him dinner and saying lovely things about his hair and all that sort of stuff. It worked. It seems to have worked exclusively against Watford and Norwich, which is not necessarily saying much because, you know, they're dreadful.
Rafa as well.
Although he might be able to do it in the Championship.
Yeah, 27 million quid in the Championship. And Rafa as well. People commenting on the fact that he seems to have gone to wing back. Unimpressed Paul, not happy with his head, says his head has totally gone. He obviously needs a good manager to keep him under control. Can't think why he's losing his head now then. Paul's opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't like to suggest they're not trying, because I think that's a really kind of easy thing to say. I think they're incredibly frustrated, and I do question whether they have any belief in what they've been asked to actually do. And I'm like, we'll get onto the alien red card later, but it's like, yeah, he was pissed off, and it's such a split second thing. He's not thinking anything. That's just a complete reaction to how he's feeling, which is how I was feeling at the same time, to be honest. It reminded me of Calvin Phillips getting sent off at QPR in the promotion season, where at the end of the game where we lost, he just went and snapped someone. I thought, yeah, I get where you're coming from there, mate.
Yeah, actually minimal comments on Ayling, because everyone knows he did a naughty.
He features prominently in Heroes of Villains.
Okay.
So we'll maybe discuss him then.
Hero or villain? Don't spoil it now. We'll do that on the main Winkley show, the main weekly show. Dan James as well picked out number 10. Is there a plan? We're falling back on the same themes, aren't we? I don't think anybody can quite figure out what's going on or what they're trying to do.
It feels a bit like if you've ever played like Football Manager or Champ Manager or any of that type of game, you start in pre-season, you create a formation that you're like, this is great, and then like 10 minutes in, you can be losing 2-0 and you just start moving people. You're like, okay, well,
I'll have him running backwards.
He can go there. Yeah, I'll put a line in there. I'll make him not man mark all over the pitch. I'll make him not press, and you start adjusting loads of stuff, and none of it works because you don't know what you're doing. It feels a little bit like that with Dan James. It's like, okay, he's in the team, but maybe he can do a job there. Oh no, he can't. Well, maybe I'll put him there. All right, he's still only playing a 6 out of 10. I'll move him to the right. Oh, he's got even worse. Move him to right back. Nope, not there either. And we're just dotting him about the pitch in a way that I don't think he's doing him any favours. I feel sorry for Dan James actually, because the number of minutes he's actually got to play in his preferred position has been. I bet it's like 10% of his minutes for Leeds have been in a position that he actually wants to play in. And I think he's useful in the right setup.
Yes,
because Bielsa absolutely loved him. Like, for all we can criticise the board for not spending money, they did spend 25 million on Dan James because Bielsa loved him.
Yeah, and whether there was wisdom in that, given the lack of central midfielders, is a different question, isn't it? But maybe that's a 2 weeks from now question, isn't it?
Yeah,
there's a 2 weeks from now question. The injured players, as Si points out, is a huge factor as well. That we're missing so many people. But again, we're going back onto the questions that will be asked in 2 weeks about the size and the shape of the squad. Questions that have been, to be fair, they've been flagged up all year, haven't they? And all those chickens are now coming home to roost. Let's finish on a positive. Lewis Bate
was good. Yeah, I mean,
will feature heavily in next season's Championship, etc.
Not outstanding, but no one was. But he certainly looked comfortable, and like maybe he's slightly better suited to that position than Click or Cock, who neither look comfortable when they're put in there.
It's funny, isn't it, that someone's like so young with so little first team experience could just be dropped in there and just look more comfortable in a particular system.
If it's a position you're naturally inclined to play, though, it's the way that, you know, Rafinha is our best player, but stick him at wing back doesn't look all that dangerous all of a sudden. Ask
him to take long throws and.
Yeah, are we suggesting that square pegs should be put into square holes?
Should we finish on Gouldy? I did title this one "Gouldy on the crack pipe."
Okay, let's. Is this proper positivity?
Proper positivity. I would say Gouldy.
Good luck with your recovery.
Is it? I don't know. I don't know if this is sarcasm or not. Stay up. We can watch Jesse build his team and hopefully consolidate us in the Premier League.
Sorry. Just do the opening 3 words there.
Happy either way.
Yeah.
This is about going up or down.
Yes.
Stay up, we can watch Jesse build his team to hopefully consolidate us in the Premier League. Go down, we can watch Jesse build his team to work towards another excellent promotion run-in that the fans can celebrate with the team next season. Plus 8 extra games of football.
I suspect there may be a little bit of tongue-in-cheek there, don't you? Well, I'll tell you
who
what,
knows?
let's leave that one to the interpretation of the viewer/listener.
Okay.
And is Gouldy on the crack pipe?
It's not been a good week, has it? Is there... there must be something. There must be something good in here.
If he's got a spare crack pipe.
Pass it round.
I mean, again, we're talking about the bargaining stage of grief. Marky Mark. Not sure how much has changed after the Arsenal game, other than the shit first half. Being blinkered, we lost as expected. Burnley lost at home, which was a bonus. If you'd have looked at the fixtures pre-Man City, we have the points we'd have expected, and probably the same can be said for Burnley. The last 3 games were always going to be the most crucial, and it was always going to be incredibly close. Keep the faith.
He's right. He's right. I didn't expect anything from that game.
No.
I also don't expect anything from the remaining games after watching that one, unfortunately. But, Burnley are also bad.
There you go. Part 1 done of propaganda. Let's get onto the clips in part 2. Stick about for that.
The Square Ball Podcast.